Not one of them's going to be done, and then they'll say, don't hire that sub again. I do. And I give them a blank piece of paper and go, survive. You got double science 9. Have fun, kids. So I survived 35 years of teaching. I'm a retired teacher. Yeah. I don't look too bad. I got a big gut out of it, but I made it. And it's great to see you people. Some of you are making lesson plans for Monday. The phys ed people are staring at their phones going, I don't know what game to play now. I know there's phys ed people in here. I'll speak slower. Apparently by that, there's quite a few of them. So I'm here to give you the long road of life speech about the career of being a teacher. One of the best careers. I taught for 35 years. At the same time, for 30 years, I had a different career, which I'm working on and continuing on right now. For 30 of those years, I was a full-time stand-up comic. And I was also a mentor to a lot of comedians. I was the teacher. I would be the first to take them on the road. And yeah, so Brent Butt was a young comic. I was the first to take old Brent on the road. He had no money, and I had to go to the gas stations and phone my manager, and I go, I'm burning oil. Can you take some oil on the receipt? She says, yeah, and then I made them get those hoagies out of the things. That's how I fed the kid. It said oil on the receipt, but yeah. So he had to repay me with lots of lobster because it's, that's the way it goes. So I have been a teacher in both my careers, and I've just loved all of this because, see, I'm the old guy in the school, yeah. See, you've seen that. A teacher in your school that's about to retire that's a scary thing if you're an administrator. Because they're just sitting there at the staff meeting, that was the old fart going, that shit won't work. Suppose it's going to go with the no-zero policy, too. Oh, yes, sirree. Because I was that teacher. My last year teaching for my, doing my good old, let's see, what do you call it when you have to put your career goals in it? Yeah, those plans, yeah. I used one word, Viagra. Yeah, I sent it off. Nobody asked me to fill in all the rest. How do you know? Any parent that came in to complain, I became Charlie Brown's parent, teacher. I just sat there and went, wah, 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 assessment for learning. But see, you're the first year teachers. You're the one that come into the school and you have all the bright ideas. You know how to use a smartboard. See, I don't have a PowerPoint, because to me, PowerPoint is what I did to whoever cut me off on Highway 16. It's just, no, me on a smartboard is pretty well. So, yeah. Turn to page 58. Because you see us old teachers, we're in the hallway going, hey, you. We're just having a vowel movement. But you're here. You guys, I got to give you one big word of advice. Have your children now. Don't wait like I did. 15 years into the career, there wasn't a name left. You've already eliminated 20 names, and it's only been a month. We love you guys. These are just those great ideas. Because in my 35 years of teaching, I taught in rural schools. I taught grades 1 through 12. And Southern Alberta is really important to me. I have roots in Taber, Alberta. Yeah, yay! Every time I go down to Southern Alberta, people ask the stupidest question of me. My last name's Valgardson, and they go, are you related to the corn? Yeah. And after I retired, I spent probably the first month in High River at my cousin's house, taking all the feces out of the basement. And I never got sick, because you know why? Because my generation, we ate dirt. Yes, we used our imaginations as kids. We didn't pass everybody. Everybody didn't get a ribbon. No, kids hate that little participant ribbon. We got zeros. We failed school. We were tougher. You know what I learned from track meet? At the end of the day, I had no ribbons at all. That was a 0. I learned a lesson. I'm not an athlete. So when I went down to High River, I could be cleaning in a hazmat suit because I ate dirt. I used my imagination as a kid. I think I invented the very first video game. We found a hornet's nest underneath a pallet. And it was underneath the pallet, and so we just had our short pants on. We took everything off and we had bare feet because it was an alley, and in those days it wasn't pebble rocks, it was spiky rocks. And we went up and we took this great big spike and we shoved it right in there and we ran. And then we counted bites. And whoever had the least number of them won. And then we ate peanut butter and nobody died. That's a very important thing. We had toys that could kill us. We had Valgardson firecrackers. I'm still here. I learned a valuable lesson with firecrackers growing up on the farm in Tabor and fresh cow manure. Keep your mouth closed. Very valuable lesson to have on that. So that's what I spent my summer down in Tabor, and that made me want to be a teacher in rural Alberta. So for 35 years I taught. And then I retired, and then I decided to be a substitute teacher. That only lasted 2 months. Oh yeah, I got a phone call for the one grade I've never ever taught. Kindergarten. Oh, I will never ever do that again. I have never ever seen that much snot eaten in an afternoon. Well, one kid I called the kid, I looked at him, I called him Popeye. He didn't know why. But I wanted to videotape him for grade 8 science on viscosity, because he just sat there going, whoa. See, that's high school people groaning. And I had a child, so when a kid said, smell my finger, I knew not to. I'll wait, kids. I'll wait. Because all your big speakers you're going to have in the future come from the big cities like Edmonton, Calgary, Los Angeles, Toronto. I come to you from Camrose. Thank you, yeah. Everywhere I tour, people say, where are you from? I go, Camrose. They always say the same thing. Oh yeah, we know where that is. We usually stay there when we go to Banff because it's cheaper. Get a road map. That's Canmore. West of Calgary. I'm from Camrose, west of Banff. And there is a place called Banff, Alberta. Historically, I don't know how it got its name. Somebody got some bad buffalo meat. I don't feel very good. Banff. Then they moved to Scoopumchuck. Such a little history lesson right there. So I'd like to start off with giving you a little bit of, first of all, I'd like to introduce you, because pretty soon you probably had Meet the Creature night already. Yes, that's what we called it as kids. You're going to have report cards coming up. I think they're still called report cards. I don't know. No, they're called assessment fluff things that go through the internet. I don't know. They've changed a lot of things in the 1 year I've been gone. Oh, yes, sir. So first of all, I want to introduce you to teacher speak. Teacher speak is what we say and what we mean. Don't get ahead of me, okay? First of all, Kevin is pleasant. Which means I'm saying the only nice thing I can think of. Judy is disruptive. which means, when are you moving? We have a no-zero policy in our school. That's what it means. You should help by reviewing with him and make sure he completes his homework and sign, and please even look at his agenda. Which means, you have 4 more children? Could you leave your ovaries and testes on my desk before you go? You guys got that one better than the Edmonton crowd did. A little bit better in southern Alberta. Because this is what you get to go through. You get to go through this great career, this great fun career. I taught grades 1 through 12, and things have changed. Things have changed in that time. Because, grade 1s, I love, because once you become a parent, you're going to retrain your child before you send them to kindergarten or grade 1. The parents did before they sent. They held them lovingly. They looked them in the eyes and said, whatever you do around the house, don't do at school. If it's itchy, don't scratch it. Don't pick your nose. You're representing our name. Go. No, kids in grade 1, it's, so what are we doing today? And never send your daughter wearing a dress, so this will happen. This is the future Miss Canada I'm looking at. And you know what I love about grade 1s? They tell us everything. I had a kid in grade 1 go, Mr. V, I saw my mom and dad in the bathtub together last night. That's cute, that's what they tell us. But I was in a rural school, so I taught that kid for 9 years. For 9 years, I had parent-teacher interviews. And they sat across from me and then faced each other. You go to a parent-teacher interview and the teacher's got a grin on their face, your kid talked. And they're learning words in kindergarten. You'll find out if you're a kindergarten or grade 1 teacher, you will get the best gifts. Yeah, you will. That's just to shut you up. And if you're a first-year teacher and you're in a small rural community, the tractors and combines have already circled the school, haven't they? Because nothing's better than marrying a teacher. Yeah. Because you already had that. They've come up real shy and go, hi. Because you got 2 months, you're already, don't tell me you're the guys from southern Alberta again. Oh, no. Vauxhall people. Oh, that's okay. See, I'm hitting it right on, because you're already getting, because those farm boys are just, nothing's better than marrying a teacher. 2 months off in the summer. Oh yeah, PD days coming out your ass, you can combine anytime you want. Only thing better is a nurse, because then you can take a night shift and check the cows. Okay, not enough rural kids here. Oh yeah, but in their kindergarten, they're learning words. And a lot of the words that they're learning are coming from television. And the words that we don't want them to learn are coming earlier and earlier. My daughter was in kindergarten, and she went, Mommy, what's gonorrhea? My wife went into protective mother mode. She said it's like a sore throat. Yeah, I had a few questions. Like, where did you pull that out of? I looked at my daughter and said, it's not a sore throat, it's a bad disease. She went, oh, okay. Phew. Imagine if I wasn't there. She'd be in kindergarten going, Mrs. Erga, I got gonorrhea. And my dad told me to suck on a fisherman's friend. The police would be at my house in no time. Mr. Valgardson, you're coming with us, and we hear you pee different than her. See, that's not dirty. Once you have children, there is no shut doors in your house. Gentlemen, you will go into the bathroom and do your business. Your daughter will kick open the bathroom door, see you do it different than she does, and go tell all of her friends. That's another reason. Have your children now, while you're still in shape. Don't wait like I did. My daughter told all of her friends that I pee out of my belly button. I like the visual learners here, because they just puked a little bit. The visual learners. Oh, yes. Because they love their teachers in elementary. Oh, elementary science, that was what I taught. I loved it. You collect garbage, and you make stuff with garbage, and you send it home, and then the parents throw it away. It's a great curriculum. Grade 6 science, we teach kids how to solve crimes. So when they become criminals, they know what not to do. Then they get into junior high and they get this attitude. Oh, junior high girls. Oh, what a species that is, isn't it? It's like, boys, 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 boys. I coach them in basketball. I show them how to do a layup. I ask for questions. I usually get, what kind of makeup goes with sweat? I'm sorry, I did my impression of a junior high girl wrong. First of all, have you ever noticed junior high girls lose their fingers? Here's a junior high girl telling you her day. If she still speaks to you, because they won't speak to you from grade 8 to grade 11, because you're an adult. They'll just roll their eyes at you and text. So here's a junior high girl telling you her day. So, I was waiting for the bus light, and, the bus light came up and, stopped, and I, had to take, 2 steps over to, get on the bus light. So, I, got on the bus light, and, I, looked around, and I, had to sit face Johnny, whatever. Text, selfie. None of the junior high girls spoke that way. The parents phoned me up and go, how did you solve this? It's easy. Tell the story back to them the way you spoke when you were in junior high. So for my generation, it would be, just wait, man. Just wait, man. Okay, just wait. So, man, just wait. So, man, this bus comes rolling on at me. And man, the wheels are going this way, and it looked like they were going this way. And the bus stopped and went, it farted, man. This just blew me away. So man, I got on the bus, man, and I scoped the scene, man, and I sat beside a dude with zits. Groovy. She'll look at you and go, that sounds stupid. Because you first-year teachers, you come into the school with beautiful ideas, beautiful sayings like, children are like flowers. Each one will bloom individually. I taught for 35 years. Children are like farts. You can handle your own, but other people's are unbearable. Stuff exciting. I had to make igneous rocks turning into metamorphic rocks exciting. Yeah, grade 8 science teachers, here's your lesson. Because you could show it on the smart board, and it probably doesn't work, because you had your best lesson ever, right? And you had applets and everything, and and the class comes in there, and it's the zoo class. And that's when the internet goes down on you. It always happens. That's one of the rules of being a teacher. The other one is if you fart in the photocopy room, someone will enter. She just hit him. See, look at that. Phys ed people, that's a room. Sometimes it's by the library. Oh, you don't know that either. igneous rocks have crystals in all different directions because they were molten, and they're out like this. And then heat and pressure from the earth squeezes it, doesn't melt, heats, and then makes all of them the same way. That's metamorphic. So you can show them on applets, you can show, the best way is hands-on. I took plasticine or clay, and I put pennies in all different directions, and I go, what is that? And the kids go, that's an igneous rock, Mr. V. And all the pennies, they're crystals, and they're all different directions. And I put it onto my desk, and I took my stool, and I turned it upside down, and I put it on top of it. And I went onto my desk and onto the stool and went, heat and pressure, heat and pressure. Picked it up, peeled it off, opened it up, and all the pennies were in the same direction. I go, what is that? That's metamorphic, they said. So I have to assess them. This is an old story. This is when we were allowed to give them quizzes and tests. Because nowadays, I'm going to assess you, and the kids are going, is it this type or that? Never mind, kids, okay. So I put it on a quiz. I said, Mr. Valgardson did this little demonstration. Well, explain the demonstration and what happened. So one kid spelt pennies wrong. I like you guys. I don't even have to go on with it. In a comedy club, I got one person that got it, usually. Oh, yeah. Okay, here's the answer. I'll help the phys ed people out. I'll tell you what. So, this kid wrote, Mr. V took some clay and inserted his penises into it. All his penises were pointing in different directions. Therefore, it was an igneous rock. He squished it with his stool. When he peeled his stool off of it, all his penises were pointing in the same direction. Therefore, it was a metamorphic rock. 5 out of 5. Oh, sorry, today's society. Excelling. Or other fluff word. Participant. Oh, yes, sir. Then they get into high school, they get this attitude. How come we're taking this stuff? We'll never, ever use it anyway. Answer the question. I do. You can use my answer. I always look at them. In case you're in a room full of adults watching Jeopardy, you won't look like a dink. Turn your hat the right way. I hate that. That's how old I had to leave. Because kids wearing hats backwards. I'm a Riders fan, so you can hate me. I don't care. Woo! We did well last Friday. I was at a Riders game. I was on the sunny side. And there was a kid with his hat on backwards doing this. That's the result of giving no zeros at schools. I taught biology in high school, which was great, because the kids would get all their units confused, and I'd get great test answers that I'd share with complete strangers and make more money than the principal. I asked one time, what are the 8 arm-like appendages on an octopus called? One kid said testicles. Now class, visualize that. An octopus sitting on the bottom of the ocean, with no arms and 8, you know. Decides to go for a walk. Ow! 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 In Biology 30, we have a government exam. All of you that have got a 30-level course have a departmental exam that you have to get ready for your kids already. You're already talking to them. And we as teachers do not know any of the questions on that exam, and it's from the curriculum. 2 problems with the biology curriculum. Number 1 is terminology. Every word in biology has 3 other words that could be used. We don't know which one will be on our test. So we have to stop the class and say this word or this word or this word. That's kind of how we have to teach all through the... Number 2, there's a reproduction unit. And there's one parent in every school that's concerned. And I respect that. I have the curriculum out. I'm ready for her. She comes running in. I go, physiology, my job. Values, your job. Sit down with your child at the dinner table and discuss what they learned in biology and give your values toward it. She came 1 unit early. couldn't figure out why. The day before, I started teaching digestion. And the first stage of digestion is chewing. And scientifically, chewing is called mastication. This parent was just livid that I had the audacity to teach their child about mastication. Me. So I told her the truth. I told her I masticate 4 or 5 times a day. Sometimes between classes. Your kids even caught me nibbling on my wife's sticky buns. I told her to come in at noon and we have group mastication. I never saw her again. So write down these stories. You've got 35 years or more stories that you are going to write and tell, and you're going to laugh every day. If you haven't started, then you better start. You better laugh every day. I've been retired for a year now, and I miss that laughter every day. I miss the hugs. I miss just all of that interaction I ever had. My favorite story was doing theater sports. Improv comedy. I had a kid in grade 7 with a learning disability. It was called learning disability back then. Every 3 weeks we had a new political correct term for it. Now it's called bank employee. That's it. And oh, come on! If there was bank employees in here, I'd put a bunch of ropes up, make them walk in like this. And when they got to the door, I'd close it and go, this one's closed, you gotta use the other one. So this kid was playing a game called Arms Expert. To simplify the game, you walk up on stage like this, you ask the audience, what am I an expert on? The audience tells you, you make a speech about it, then answer questions from the floor as if you're an expert. So he says, what am I an expert on? Somebody said rubber gloves. So he makes a little speech, gets a few laughs, starts answering questions from the floor, like how can you feed baby animals with rubber gloves? How are rubber gloves made? One last question, the lady at the back. This lady asked, why do gynecologists wear rubber gloves? It was a school event. Every parent turned around looking for me and I'm hiding because it was this quiet. Because I told the kid, you got a learning disability. If you don't understand the question, you're an expert. Answer it anyway. He said, good question, lady. Good question. A gynecologist wears rubber gloves because he doesn't want to touch the trigger when he's cleaning the barrel. He graduated last year from med school. He's a new doctor in your town, look out. Because that's what you're going to have. You have some of the kids that you go, oh, this kid, I don't know. They're gonna get a hold of you in about 10 years and apologize how they acted. You're going to have gold medal athletes. I had one in my career. You're going to have doctors, lawyers. You're going to have people that have their own business. You are probably one of the most important people in a lot of these kids' lives. You are probably one of the role models that they are going to go after. After my school closed, we had grade 1 through 12 school. We lost the high school. It went consolidated into something bigger. The language arts teacher sent an assignment down that one of the students had written, and I'd like to share that with you. And it's a descriptive paragraph. And it's a description of a teacher. My favorite teacher in junior high was Mr. Valgardson. Everybody called him Mr. V. He was a tall, lanky man, and he always seemed to tower over us. Some people think this would be intimidating, especially since he had that mad scientist look about him. But he was just a big teddy bear. He had huge, bushy eyebrows that curled up in the corners and large, probing eyes. He had a bald spot on the top of his head, like an island surrounded by a sea of graying hair. He had small wire-rimmed glasses to complete that whole scientist look, and it suited him since he was my science teacher. The best thing about Mr. V is we never knew what to expect with him. One minute he was showing us an experiment about convection currents. The next minute the whole thing was on fire. He tried to demonstrate an experiment about chemical reactions, and the next thing you knew, it was letting off a strange green poisonous gas. I'm not really sure how we got along, because I think I broke just about every thermometer, beaker, or anything made out of glass in his class. Mr. V, no matter how dull the subject was we had to learn, he could always make his classes fun. He'd act out the particle theory, tell funny jokes, tease, or sing the whole class opera style. I taught health one year, okay? I'll explain that. Although I'm not usually good at science, I did my best I ever thought possible in his class. My mark in previous classes went from the low 70s to the high 80s. Instead of getting frustrated in science, I could actually understand things. I'm thankful I had such a great teacher. Well, let's see, this is my 11th first-year teachers convention, and I think at number 6, she was at it. One of the brand new teachers. And yeah, and you guys probably had that one teacher that really sparked, and you want to be like, to do it. Go out and do it. You have a career. You get to go hands-on things. You might get frustrated, but you are in the best occupation ever. Don't worry about money, because there's no way we're in this for the money, I'll tell you that. You saw that first check and went, oh, I could work in the oil fields. But you guys are great. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your life.